Well, hello, and welcome to Chat Witch Wednesday. Really struggling. I don't know whether it's a combination of the energies out there or everything that's been going on with me for the last few weeks. But fibro, I'm just very tired. Hence no makeup or anything. I just thought, well, I overdo it or I don't, but I wasn't gonna sit there and put makeup on just to do this video. So um I didn't really know what I was going to talk about today. I mean, we've been doing quite a bit about the sort of basic foundation sort of things on a spiritual path, and over the last couple of weeks, protection, grounding, cleansing, all those sorts of things. Last week we spoke about the plateau. But I was watching a video this morning, an art video actually, or a guy that was ranting, and he had one of his subscribers get in touch because they'd booked on to go on this like Zoom call with this lady about artwork and stuff. But as the subscriber had looked a bit more into things the lady said, they were a bit like, whoa, this doesn't feel right. So they sent some of the stuff to the guy whose video I was watching, who was an artist, and he had a right rant about it all, and understandably, and it made me really think about the spiritual path. um what it was, this woman was an artist years ago but had stopped doing any artwork, and she owned a gallery, and she was basically saying that there are only certain types of people that are artists. So if you drew, you weren't an artist, you just drew. And if you didn't, if you used some mediums, then again you weren't really an artist, and that you weren't an artist unless you had all your artwork in a gallery, and you weren't an artist if you did artwork for yourself. So whatever art you do has to be commissioned, and it has to be for other people, otherwise you are not an artist. So anyway, he went on about this rant, and I was like, oh God, we have that in the spiritual thing, where, like, a clairvoyant will not, this is not a generalization of everyone. This is just like I've heard and seen as I've been working spiritually. So I'm not picking on anyone. I'm not, I'm just going to clarify that to start with. And I'm not an authority on everything. I just have my own ideas of things. But I remember like a lot of clairvoyance when I was working on the oh God, I knew this was going to happen because the fibros kicked in. So the fibro brain is like, yay, let's take shit out of her head. Let's make her look like a right dinlow, and she doesn't know what she's talking about. Let me get back. So when I was doing psychic fairs, when I was working psychic fairs, I often heard a lot of clairvoyants say that clairvoyants are clairvoyants, and psychics are way beneath clairvoyance, and it was all like really bizarre stuff to say. And I get that, there's differences in how we get stuff, and there's all the clairs, and I went to Stansted College years ago on a little course, I think it was a week, and it was with a trans medium and clairvoyant, and he was really interesting actually, because I really liked him. I liked how he spoke and everything. And he was saying about the clairs, and he said, oh, you have clairvoyance, they see, and you have clairaudience, they hear, and you know, lots of other clairs. And then he said, and then there's clair knowing. And I was like, oh my God, I have a clair. Yay. Although I do hear a little bit, but I mostly get all the, like, you know, the static and the sort of ringing and stuff, which obviously a lot of people say is tinnitus. But I don't have it all the time. So I sort of know when I'm getting a download, because I'll have ringing. It's mostly in my left ear. I do get it in the right, and I do sometimes get it in both, but it's mostly in the left ear, which apparently means stuff as well. But anyway, so he said about this clair knowing, and I thought, I've always had that. I just like know something. And the trouble is, you can't explain why you know it, because you just know it, and you don't know how you know it, why you know it, you just know it. And then that takes me into, like, when, like, we have feelings, and you know, some people have, like, say they have a gut feeling. I know my friend and Reiki master Leonie, I know that she gets a shiver, and she'll say, oh, I know that's correct because of the shiver. So over the years, she has learned that that's what her body is trying to tell her, what her psyche is trying to tell her, what her spiritual body's trying to tell her, that, you know, or that shiver means this is correct. Some people it's the gut, some people it's something in their minds, and it is all different for all of us. And what is absolutely correct for me is never going to be absolutely correct for someone else. They might be able to take some of it and go, yeah, I get that, but, and there'll be a but. Yeah, but, because we are all so unique, which I've discussed so many times before, and I will discuss till I'm blue in the face, because we are so unique. Not only do we have how we were brought up, where we were brought up, our ethnic backgrounds, our cultural backgrounds, you know, our family backgrounds, you know, where families have, like, certain things that run through the family that's like, well, we've never, and we do, and, you know, it's all like, so you have all that. And then as you start to age and stuff, you then get your own, and you get rid of a lot of the conditioning you've had, and stuff that you feel no longer is part of you, or it was never part of you. It's just that was something that, you know, your family did, or that was something that you were taught, and that was something, you know, your peers did. So, you know, the older we get, the more we if we're sort of looking at ourselves and trying to work on ourselves and things, we release a lot of stuff that no longer serves us, no longer resonates with us, no longer feels like it's part of who we've become. And I think if we're doing that and releasing stuff, then who we've become is who we were right at the very beginning, before we were coloured and with other people's stuff and everything. So anyway, so I was really connected with this video and putting it into the context of the spiritual. And, you know, over the years, I think I discussed it a bit when I was talking about Reiki the other, I don't know which video it was on, but where, you know, we're taught different things because the teacher that we have, we're taught their way, and they might have flavored it a bit with themselves. Like my Reiki master always says, like, you should teach as pure as you can, but I'm sure we still flavor things, don't we? Or how we speak, how we come across, what we say will affect the person that we're teaching. I think it's so difficult because most of us have self-esteem issues, self-worth issues, things that affect us, because I think that's just part of society, that we're not brought up to believe in ourselves as much as we should. We're not brought up to, we're always brought up to do better, and that's not good enough, and we have all that sort of stuff going on. And so this is why it crossed over for me from my art, because I know what it's like with the artwork. You know, you do something and you love it, but no one else loves it. No one sort of says, oh yeah, you know, they like it, because maybe it's not their taste. And if we've got a little chink in our armor of self-worth and self-esteem issues, then we tend to let that chink widen, and we're like, then we start dissing our work and like looking at stuff. And the same with the spiritual, you know, like I'm not I remember like the clairvoyant thing, because I did end up working at psychic fairs, so I was very connected in with clairvoyance. There was a lot of different clairvoyants. Now over the years I've met some amazing clairvoyants and lovely, you know, really genuine, kind, caring, loving people, but like in anything, I've also met the nasty, you know, just horrible clairvoyance. Like you would, you know, meet a nice footballer and a horrible one, a nice doctor and a horrible one. You know, that's across the board in every single thing we do. But when you sort of start out on your spiritual path and you're with a certain group of people, and then you don't have what they have. So I just didn't have this clairvoyant thing. I mean, am I psychic? And there was this crossover of what is a medium, what is a clairvoyant, what is a psychic. Psychics are like the lowest of the low in that world, and they're not, but that's how it's seen. Like, because your gift is not as great as, you know, someone sitting there and getting your dead relative in and all of that. And it took a long time. I was like, what a load of bloody rubbish. We each have this uniqueness, so that our specialized gifts can be strengthened and whatever. So, you know, if you're trying to go down a path that isn't for you, you're never ever going to get anywhere. I mean, it doesn't mean don't try harder at things and stuff like that, because sometimes you have to put in more work. But if something isn't for you, then just move away from it. Don't do it because other people are doing it. Don't do it because you think that's going to make you feel better or fit in, or, you know, because it just isn't your path. Just walk away and let the universe bring to you what is your path, you know. I mean, I can read the runes now. I mean, I'm not great, but I certainly can read them way better than, you know, obviously in the beginning. And and it has a real energy to it that I have had with my sacred path, the medicine cards that I use. But I never felt like doing readings was it wasn't really my thing, which I knew, but I presumed that was because I wasn't this amazing medium clairvoyant. And if I'm absolutely truthful, I don't want to get your dead uncle through. You know, I'm sure that's lovely for people that, you know, are missing people, and they want that sort of thing. And they go to someone to have a reading, and maybe their dead Uncle Ian comes in. I don't know who dead Uncle Ian is. I haven't got a dead Uncle Ian, but anyway, I don't know what he wants to say, but um, so it just wasn't really my thing. And so then I also took it that then maybe I shouldn't be doing readings, but also when I was doing readings, my readings weren't like, I would say like, I would say I used to say like a proper reading. And I used to say that to people. Well, yes, I do readings, but not a proper reading. And they go, well, what do you mean not a proper reading? Oh, well, I don't get that you're going to get a new job, and I don't get that, you're going to be going on holiday, and I don't get all this sort of stuff. I get about your spiritual path, and my readings have always been like that. They've always been sort of psychology, spiritually based stuff about your path. So if I do a reading, I'm going to be telling you what you're doing wrong, what you need to be looking out for, what you need to be doing. But it's not going to be about, oh, you're going to meet the man of your dreams. Oh, you're going to get a new job. It's never been anything like that. And so I presumed that my readings weren't proper because I wasn't getting that. Instead of thinking, oh my goodness, I get this different. Look at how different I get it. And celebrating that, and maybe doing something with that. I could have been out there doing something, but I never did, because I just presumed that, I wasn't a clairvoyant. Maybe I was a bit psychic. Maybe my intuition was good. And that's what happens when one aspect is maybe our self-esteem isn't great, and we're dissing ourselves and looking down on ourselves, and we don't have the ability to move forward thinking, yes, I'm great, I'm a great artist, oh, my readings are fabulous, but we get that from the outside. And in the spiritual world, I've seen it. Oh my God, mediums, clairvoyants, healers, shamanic practitioners, well, shamanism is way better than Reiki healing, and Reiki healers. Oh, shamanic healing, well, you shouldn't even be doing that, because that should be left, tribal people do. There's just all this horrible energy of one-upmanship, and I mean, not across the board, not with everyone. I'm not making it a generalization and stuff, but it's just something to look out for. Like, don't think someone is not as good as you. Don't think you're not as good as someone else. Just embrace your uniqueness. Look at you and go, well, this is what I do. And maybe your things haven't come through because you need to do more work on them. I mean, it's taken me all these years, and I only really took up the runes again. I mean, yes, I have done the runes over the years, but I just couldn't really grasp them, get on with them. And again, you see, I put a block on it because to me, runes were about divination. That wasn't my thing. I believe that totally wasn't my thing. And so, why would I take up the runes? So, I could have been working now with the runes for like 25 years. Imagine how much knowledge and understanding and whatever I had. Yes, I do sort of believe in that you do things at the right time, and the right teacher comes along at the right time, when you're ready, and all that sort of thing. So I don't see that your path is ever wrong. I think we can go down a different pathway. I don't think any pathway is wrong. So I think that, say we've got 3 paths ahead of us, and so we can go to the left, we can go to the right, we can go in the middle, and so we choose, I'm going to the left. And really, what would have been better for us is to go to the right. But we still go down that path. It's still learning. It's still got stuff down there for us. But any of those paths and all of those paths are correct. So there's not a right or wrong, but is there a way, you know, when I went down, let's say I went down the left path, so I bypassed the runes. Oh, I don't do divination, so I'm going to bypass. What has happened is I've come right back round, and then, you know, years and years and years and years later, I take up the runes. Well, I could have done that years ago, but I didn't. So it's not wrong, it's not right. It's just is what happened. That is it. It is what it is. And you know, now I'm doing it. But there will be times where you are drawn to something and you think it's right, and you try and do it, and you try and do it, and sometimes that is wrong. In See, that I don't have words for it, because wrong and right and all that is wrong. but but you'll be doing it maybe for peer pressure, or you'll be doing it maybe because someone else has done it and you like the look of it. It's like art, right? Oh my god, I watch so many YouTube videos. I love them. You know, if I had to pay for YouTube, I would be so broke, and I'd be devastated because I couldn't afford it. But I watch so many, and they'll be using something in the video, you know. So say I was looking at abstract acrylic paintings, say, for instance, and in there, you know, you've got your usual things. So you've got your acrylic paint, and you've got your brushes, say, and your canvas, whatever substrate you're putting it on. But then, you know, someone gets out a squeegee. I don't know what they're called, actually. It's not a squeegee, but it's like a silicon wedge thing. So, and they get like, oh, I haven't got a silicon wedge, you know, and then you get on Amazon and order one. And you just like, you know, you get it because you've seen it. It's exciting. They did some amazing artwork with it. It was absolutely fabulous. So, and then you try it out and it's like, oh, now, could you practice and maybe get better at it? Or is it just not for you? And it may be just not for you. You can't do everything. So, you know, and I started off with very much like books that had like, I loved Cassandra Easing. Well, I still love Cassandra Easing. And like, I had Every Woman a Witch, I had her psychic development books, and you know, in there she had runes, she had numerology, she had crystals, you know. So and then if you go to like a craft, if you go to a say like the healing weekend, we have the healing weekend in the UK, which was started out by a guy called Bill Harrison. It's been going years. He's passed, and now one of the ladies that sort of worked with him, she took it up, and it's amazing. So you go there for the weekend. There's healers, there's clairvoyants, and when I say healing, you know, look at healing, right? Healing, right? You've got Reiki, you've got massage, you've got tuning forks, you've got gong baths, you've got oh, what have you got? I mean, you got shamanic healing. I mean, there's just thousands. You know, and over the years I've like looked at different healing techniques and things. I love my Reiki. At the minute I'm working in my mastery, and with another lady privately, working with rune healing. I've been doing some amazing Feiyu rune healings last week as we went into Feiyu. But you know, healings that I love sound healing. It's got to be one of my most favorite things. A gong bath, tuning forks, singing bowls. I just absolutely love sound healing. I'm really into the solfeggio frequencies. Again, loads of YouTube videos with solfeggio. I mean, there's literally every single thing you can think of to heal every single thing, emotionally, physically, spiritually. You know, there's tons of chakra healing. Oh, it's just, there's so many. But you know, does that mean, I mean, you might say, right, I'm a healer, I'm a natural healer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Reiki, because I'm really drawn to doing Reiki, and then I'm going to add in sound with tuning forks, and that might be what you do. You know, there'll be other people that, you know, work with crystals and stuff, and you can mix a few things together. I mean, I think your spiritual toolbox needs quite a few different things. But I mean, some people might just have one thing, and I did discuss this before, you know, they might have just Reiki. And I don't mean it just Reiki, because just having Reiki is plenty, is enough. And that is all they work with, and that's what they love, and that's it. And that's great. But there's a lot of us that are much more eclectic. You know, I like the back flower remedies. I have a whole load of orchid essences. I love essences. I like making my own essences. I like making sprays. You know, I make cleansing sprays, energizing sprays, healing sprays. You know, which, you know, incense. I like making incense. And as a witch, a lot of those things we use. So, you know, if we're doing a spell or something, we'd be using lots of different things. So, but, you know, some people just do herbalism, and, you know, that's what they spend their time just doing that. You know, some of us like a bit more of a variety and a bit more few things in there. You know, if I was doing a healing now, I could add in, you know, I could have had a spray in. I could use crystals, I could use the runes, I could do some drumming, I could do some rattling, I could use some color. You know, there's plenty of different things, and it mingles in and it works all together, because everything is energy, everything is, you know, works in that way. So it's all right to follow different paths and to then bring it all back. So say I went off on my left path, and then I went back round onto my right path to bring back the runes, and now I've brought those two paths together, and now I'm walking the middle path with stuff. And will I go off at some point? Probably, you know, in the future, possibly I'll go off somewhere and then bring it back, because you bring it back to your middle path. And yes, you can release stuff. So yes, you can, you know, get rid of some stuff that no longer feels like it's part of your path. I mean, I've put things by, so like, you know, I work with the Egyptian deities and things, and, you know, since doing the runes, I've put them sort of to one side. As well, not that you can put Egyptian gods to one side, gods and goddesses, but, you know, I haven't worked with them actively because I've been working with the rune stuff. But now they're mingling in. It's a bit weird, like, you know, Egyptian deities with the runes, but so far things are weaving together, and I'll just come out with my own thing. And you will get people saying, well, you're not doing that right. Well, there isn't a right and wrong. I'm just doing it Suzanne way, and Suzanne way is right because I am Suzanne in this lifetime. So, you know, now I don't get put off by other people's opinions and viewpoints. I do like to listen to people's opinions and viewpoints, because I think you can always learn something, even if when you're listening to them you're like, that isn't right, you know, for me, that, no, I mean, you still go with you, like, oh, that doesn't feel correct, but I wouldn't say, well, they're wrong. And, you know, I think saying wrong and right is really a difficult one. Um, let's say they're wrong, right? Because this might be the best way of explaining it. Say they're wrong. They need to find that out. So at this precise moment in time, as far as they're concerned, they're not wrong. And but actually what they're doing needs tweaking, or needs this, or they need a bit more understanding, and maybe doing something that isn't quite right is great, because they'll learn from that. And so it is the right and wrong thing is a real issue for me, because no one is ever right or wrong. They just are where they are with what they've got. It is what it is. Oh, it's a difficult one. Difficult. And it's hard to try and find words to sort of piece all that together. So I probably just sound like a real idiot, but that's fine. So yeah, so watching this art thing, yeah, it just made me sort of go back through some stuff and think of the times that people put me off my path. I remember weirdly, well, I don't remember it weirdly, but when I was at my first open circle, I think I've said before, I started out at like this open circle because I didn't really know anything. And I don't know even how we found this circle, because it wasn't in the town I was in. We had to drive out to them, and there was like 3 of us that used to go, or 2 of us to start, but then another person joined us. So we used to drive off on a Tuesday night, I believe, to this place. They were a lovely group of people. There was the lady that ran it was an older lady, and there was quite a few actually older people, and but they had some really bizarre rules. They were some of it was really strange. Obviously it's what they believed, and I think because they'd been working for so long, they'd maybe close their minds off a bit, because they did spiritual healing, and they hated Reiki with a passion. They said Reiki was dangerous, it felt horrible, it was this, it was that. And so behind their backs, not telling them, me and my friend went and did Reiki, which we loved because we were drawn to it. See, I've never really liked rules. I don't like to be told something. I like to find out for myself, and if I'd have found out, oh, Reiki wasn't for me, then fine. But I knew I was meant to do Reiki because I kept being shown it, and I trusted Spirit was showing me the right way. And yeah, that was one of the best things I've ever done in my whole of my life, so it was correct. But they hated it. But when they did eventually find out we'd done Reiki, they suddenly liked it, which was a bit bizarre. But I thought, well, maybe they're just stuck in their ways. But I remember doing and a couple of them did a lot of trance work, and they had like Native American guides, and it was really interesting because I was very much drawn to a lot of Native American spirituality through my sacred path cards and my medicine cards, and I'd read quite a lot, mainly from my sacred path cards, by Jamie Sams, and so I knew little bits and pieces and stuff. And then I was doing this meditation, and I got my raven and my wolf come through. See that now, thinking of ravens and wolves, I just think of Odin and the northern tradition, and I think it was there right at the beginning. But yeah, anyway, so I got my raven and my wolf through, and I told them, I didn't think anything of it because we have to go round the circle and we'd say what we got, and they all were going, oh no, was like, what the hell are they going on about? And they told me I had to go back into the meditation and ask the wolf and the raven to uncloak, because there could be like bad spirits, because it was a raven and a wolf, or any animal. So you don't get animals. You don't work with animals was their thing. You don't work with animals ever. And to go in and get rid of them or get them to uncloak, and they would be people. And I still hadn't been going too long, and I remember closing my eyes and thinking, what a load of bloody shit, excuse my language, what a load of absolute twaddle are they talking. Now these people were teaching me. I didn't, I was new and a beginner, but I knew that wasn't correct. So I went in and I just sat there, pretended. I came out and they said, oh, have they gone? I said, yeah. And they were like, oh, good, 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 because we don't work with animals. And I'm like, you got bloody Native American guides, spirit guides, Native American tribes, and most tribes across the world, you know, work with animals, plants, it's medicine. It's what a load of shit. What a load of shit. And there was a couple of times where I felt like leaving the group, but I loved the people. And I was learning stuff. I was gaining stuff from it. But I mean, so, if I say something and you think she's talking a load of shit, just listen to yourself, because I don't think I'm talking a load of shit, by the way. But if it doesn't resonate with you, it might be that you're not ready to hear it. Obviously there's that sort of thing. It may be that it's just not part of your path, and go and find someone that resonates better, that connects with your energy and what you're doing. If you like what I'm saying, that's great. But yeah, don't be, I mean, I try and be quite impartial. I'm sure I'm not totally impartial. I'm sure I have, I have stuff that I talk about Maggie, with the runes. I say she's like just the best. I'm sure there's people that don't like how she teaches the runes or don't connect with her, and whatever, and that's fine, because there'll be someone else out there. I mean, there's a rune guy that is quite well known and everything. I just can't resonate with him. I just no. When I listen to him, it's like, no, 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 no. And he's got lots of people that follow him, and he's an amazing guy. He's like, it's not him as a person I don't like. It's just that I just can't go with the way he teaches it. I just can't do it. It just doesn't sit with me. But Maggie does. So that's great. We find our own teachers. I mean, the amount of times that I've been told to buy a book. Oh my God, someone told me to buy a book. It's the last book I ever bought that someone told me to buy. I've never done it since. They told me to buy this book. What a load of crap. Absolute load of bloody rubbish. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I was like, but this person has sold thousands of copies of this book. People like it. It's just, for me, no. It's not wrong to think that, and it's not right to think that. You just need to go with, your stuff. If you're connected to a book, if you get into something, so if you get into crystals, and then you think, oh well, Sue knows a lot about crystals, I'll talk to Sue, what books does she recommend? That's fine. But again, I'm going to give you the books that I got the most from. And they might not be the books that I mean, I remember buying a Native American book on crystals. Oh my God, I couldn't read it. I just like, no, that's not for me. And yet I was into a lot of, Native American spirituality, but not on the crystals. I just couldn't go with it at all. I started out with with Love Is in the Earth by Melody, and I still, you know, I've got all her books here, and that is probably, that's my Bible. I know, you know, that just is, I mean, there's no pictures, and I learned tons from that. I love that book with a passion. I'm never going to be able to put it back. Oh, yes I can. And whereas like people had like Judy Hall's, because there was all those, the Bible series, I liked Judy Hall's for the pictures and that, but I still preferred that. And I had some weird and wonderful crystal books as well over the years. I did sell on because I'd sort of read them and didn't need to keep hold of them. But yeah, some really interesting different types of books. So I think I'm going to wrap this up, because I don't really like going over 40 minutes. I don't know how I got to 40 minutes, because I was so tired. I didn't think I would be doing like 10 minutes, but that's it when you can talk for England like I can. And I've probably rambled on. I've probably gone off track, and I've probably even missed. No, I don't think I missed what I was going to talk about. So basically, wrapping this up, go with whatever, if it's your gut, if it's your heart, if it's in your head, if it's a feeling, if it's a sensation, well, sensation and feeling the same. If it's a, I just know that's not right for me, I know it is. Go with your antenna, your thing first. Yes, talk to people that have a bit more knowledge, that's always good. But when they're talking, when you're listening, listen with your whole being and see if it resonates, see if it feels right. And don't worry about going down a path and then retracing back, you know, coming out and going, well, yeah, I was gonna do that, but that didn't feel right now, and you might be going somewhere else. Maybe you went there just to find something else. That's often happened to me with art. I've, you know, watched a couple of videos on something, thought, oh, I'm going to take that up, but it isn't that, it's something else comes from it. So yeah, just don't let others dissuade you, don't let others persuade you, don't let others have any influence in a detrimental way to you. You know, just be you, doing you, and be happy being you, doing you. Don't cover over someone else. Don't, you know, I love Maggie. Love Maggie. Do I want to be like Maggie? No, I want to be me with the runes. Absolutely love her with the runes, but I don't want to be a carbon copy of Maggie. She's unique. She that's who she is. I still want to be me with the runes. I want to bring my uniqueness, my difference. So yeah. So that's it. I'm gonna go and have a lie down now because I feel shattered. It's perked me up a bit actually doing this, but yeah. Oh, and this is me. I made this over the last couple of days. That's my piece of art that I've been doing. So I made myself a nice leather runic cuff. Yeah, really comfortable. I'm loving it. It's yeah, really pleased with it. So yeah. But yeah, love and blessings to everyone, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow for Runic Thursday. And yeah, have a good rest of the day, and see you soon. Bye.